Deion's public support for Shilo is completely predictable and emotionally resonant. A father vouching for a son who suddenly finds himself at a career crossroads. But strip away the family angle, and you're left with a fairly stark professional picture. An undrafted rookie who was already on the roster bubble, whose preseason ejection for throwing a punch very likely pushed the Buccaneers to waive him, and who now faces an uphill climb to stick in the league. That doesn't mean his NFL story is over, far from it, but it does mean the path forward is narrower, and the remedies have to be immediate, concrete, and sincere. First, the football context. Undrafted rookies survive by doing a handful of things extremely well: excel on special teams, demonstrate high effort and reliability in practice, show positional versatility, and radiate coachable behavior. Shilo had flashes of on-field ability, a QB hit, a few solid coverage snaps, but he was never a lock to make a 53-man roster. The ejection compounds the problem because it raises two red flags for teams: availability risk, suspensions, disciplinary action, and maturity temper control. NFL front offices prize availability and consistency. A punch that results in an ejection is an easy justification to move on when plenty of other bodies are available. Second, the optics and business reality. The NFL waiver wire is unforgiving. Once a team cuts a player, every club with waiver priority can claim him, and teams will weigh the instant cost, roster spot, immediate conduct risk, potential suspension against upside. Given Shilo's draft status and the nature of the ejection, a claim is possible but not guaranteed. If unclaimed, the next most likely landing spot is a practice squad contract, which gives him a chance to stay in the building, continue developing, and prove he's learned from the incident. Practice squad routes are the standard second act for players in his situation. Third, the non-football baggage. The story you referenced notes Shilo's ongoing personal bankruptcy tied to a prior legal judgment. That's important for two reasons. One, teams evaluate off-field risk and the potential for distraction. Ongoing legal financial issues can complicate a club's willingness to invest resources. Two, it affects the player's financial stability and negotiating posture. If Shilo needs income immediately, the practice squad is a smaller paycheck than an active roster spot or a claim that brings guaranteed money. Both realities increase pressure on him to secure any opportunity quickly, which can make poor choices more likely if he's not careful. So what should Shilo and his camp actually do right now? 1. Immediate public accountability and a measured apology. Not a performative viral clip. A concise, genuine statement acknowledging the mistake, taking responsibility, and outlining steps he's already taking to ensure it never happens again. Anger management, counseling, whatever is appropriate. Teams want to see contrition and ownership, not deflection. 2. Show change through action, not words. Enroll in a documented anger management or conflict resolution program and make that verifiable to teams. Meet with a reputable sports psychologist. Those steps both help the person and provide credible evidence to NFL decision makers that this was an aberration and not a pattern. 3. Get healthy and stay sharp. Continue positional and conditioning work. If special teams is an avenue, and it usually is for players trying to latch on, be ready to run downfield, cover kicks, and take on the dirty work. Teams sign players who can help right away on special teams. 4. Leverage connections, but be realistic. Deion's name opens doors. It gets scouts and coaches to take a longer look. But it won't erase a punch or legal history. The representation should pitch him to teams transparently. Yes, here's what happened. Here's what he's done about it. Here's why he's a worthwhile, low-cost investment for your practice squad or depth chart. Number 5, target the right landing spots. Younger teams with less depth at safety/slot corner who value developmental players, teams that historically take chances on fringe players, are likeliest suitors. Also consider teams known for culture-first rebuilds, or those with coaching staffs that emphasize player development and have a history of rehabilitating reputations. 6, personal finances and PR. Address the bankruptcy financial matters privately but decisively. Work with a trusted financial counselor and a crisis PR advisor to manage the narrative. The longer these issues fester publicly without a clear plan, the more they deter potential claimants. What are realistic outcomes? Best case, a team claims him or signs him to a practice squad. He demonstrates good behavior, contributes on special teams, and carves out a 1-2 year role as a depth defensive back and special teamer. Middle case, he clears waivers, signs to a practice squad, and has to grind through the 53-man active roster cycles before getting a true chance. Worst case, he remains unsigned and is relegated to alternative leagues or out of football for a season, which makes re-entry exponentially harder. Finally, the forgiveness curve in the NFL is real, but it's short. Players who show honest change, reliability, and a willingness to take on humble roles often get second chances. The marketplace will reward consistency over charisma in the long run. Deion's public faith is valuable emotionally and may open doors. The critical next step is converting that goodwill into demonstrable, verifiable behavior changes and immediate on-field utility. If Shilo does those things, he still has a path back. If he retreats, deflects, or fails to show growth, the league will move on quickly. Deion Sanders says he's praying, and for good reason. His son Shilo is suddenly without an NFL team after a preseason ejection and a subsequent waiver by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Sanders family is bracing for whatever comes next. Shilo Sanders was tossed from the Bucs' preseason finale after throwing a punch at Bills tight end Zach Davidson. The sequence was ugly. After being blocked at the end of the play, Sanders wound up and struck Davidson in the helmet. That single moment likely sealed his fate on a roster where margins are already razor thin. Deion, addressing reporters, was equal parts proud dad and pragmatic parent. He said he's praying that he gets another opportunity, but made it clear his son is prepared for whatever happens. I prepared my kids for any and everything that could possibly happen in life and in sports, Deion said, stressing that Shilo is both mentally and physically ready and that there are backup plans if the league door closes. Those backup plans may need to kick in fast. Sanders went undrafted in 2025, so his spot on a 53-man roster was always uncertain. After the ejection, Tampa Bay made the decision to waive him, and with him on waivers, any NFL club can claim him until the deadline. If no one claims him, he'll become a free agent, and the most realistic route back into the league would likely be a practice squad deal. Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles didn't mince words after the game. You can't throw punches in this league. I mean, that's inexcusable. They're going to get you every time. Gotta grow from that. Harsh but clear. Behavior like that is a red flag for teams juggling depth, discipline, and locker room chemistry. There are other forces at play off the field, too. Sanders is contending with serious financial and legal issues. He's in the middle of a personal bankruptcy case tied to an $11 million judgment from a prior legal dispute. That looming debt adds another layer of complexity to his path forward and could affect how teams evaluate the long-term risk of signing him. Still, Deion's message was steady. Shilo's got options off the field, and the family will be fine whether or not another team steps in. For Shilo, the immediate goal is simple. Show contrition, demonstrate maturity, and find a way back into a team environment that's willing to invest time in his development. So here's the question for you. Do teams take a chance on raw talent